Before he became a renowned speaker, author, and life strategist, he was just a young man trapped in self-doubt, fear, and limiting beliefs. What changed? He mastered his inner voice. Through years of struggle, introspection, and practice, he discovered 7 powerful laws that transformed his thinking and his life. Today, he lives by those laws and teaches others how to rewrite the scripts in their minds. In this rare conversation, he sits on the other side of the table, not to share a speech, but to answer questions. This is not just an interview, it's a masterclass in mental transformation. Welcome to Mastering the Inner Voice, a deep dive into the 7 laws that shape our inner world, and ultimately, our destiny. You've been called the inner architect, someone who rebuilt his life from the inside out. Let's start right there. What was the turning point for you? The moment you realized your inner conversations were either building your life or breaking it.
I remember it vividly. I was standing at the edge of an opportunity, but paralyzed, not by fear of failure, but by the voice in my head that kept whispering, "You're not ready. You're not enough." That day, I didn't just walk away from an opportunity. I walked into a realization. My biggest enemy wasn't out there. It was in here. That was the moment I began studying my inner voice. Not to silence it, but to master it. And that led me to the first law, the law of awareness.
You talk about the law of awareness as the first key principle. What does that mean?
You know, inner conversations are everything. They shape our reality, influence every decision, and ultimately determine the quality of our outcomes. What we say to ourselves becomes the lens through which we see the world and act in it. So the law of awareness means we can't change what we're not conscious of. Most people have no idea how much they're sabotaging themselves through their self-talk. Awareness is simply tuning in, listening to the tone, the words, and the emotions you use when you speak to yourself. That's the first step to transformation.
That brings us to the law of dominant thought. How does repetition shape our beliefs?
Repetition is reinforcement. Whatever we say to ourselves most often becomes our truth. If someone constantly says, "I'm not good enough," that thought becomes a belief. And beliefs shape behavior. So to change your life, change your dominant inner narrative.
Interesting. Now, the law of assumption. How does that work with the subconscious mind?
The subconscious doesn't argue. It accepts what you feed it. If you assume you're a failure, your mind will find ways to validate that. But if you assume success, your subconscious aligns everything, your focus, energy, and actions toward that outcome. The key is to feed it empowering assumptions.
What role do emotions play in all this? You mentioned the law of emotional charge.
Emotions are amplifiers. A thought backed by strong emotion becomes powerful. Fear makes negative thoughts stick and create resistance. But positive emotions like gratitude, hope, and excitement make our inner conversations magnetic. They attract clarity, creativity, and resilience.
Let's talk about the law of reframing. Can we really change outcomes just by changing our interpretation?
Absolutely. The story you tell yourself about any experience determines your reaction. Failure isn't final, it's feedback. When you reframe "I failed" to "I learned what doesn't work," your mind opens to growth. Reframing turns setbacks into stepping stones.
Now, the law of inner agreement. What happens when there's internal conflict?
When your positive voice wants growth, but your negative voice is rooted in fear, you stay stuck. Inner agreement is about aligning your inner voices, silencing the doubt, empowering the belief. When there's unity within, your actions become powerful and focused.
Finally, we have the law of inspired action. Is mindset alone not enough?
Never. Inner conversations set the direction, but action drives the journey. You can't affirm success and sit still. Your actions must reflect what your inner voice declares. If you believe you'll succeed, prove it with effort, discipline, and bold steps.
Powerful insights. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
Your inner voice is the scriptwriter of your life. If you don't like how the story is going, change the script. Master your inner dialogue, and you'll master your destiny.
Hello, viewers. If you got value from this interview, hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more powerful insights on mastering your inner dialogue. My name is Chloe, and I will be coming your way again soon. Peace.